What's up, everybody? I am your host, Chris Bello, and this is the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I kind of switched up the intro on you a little bit there. Today, I'm going to be talking about just-in-time versus just-in-case learning. If you just heard that little moan, that's my dog. When she lays down, she's like, But in any case, just-in-time versus just-in-case learning. And if you're familiar with like Six Sigma, lean terminology, this is kind of like the Toyota manufacturing, where just-in-time is like when you create parts just in time for the order, or say it's like a make to order part, right? I think Dell Computers does something like this. You order the part, they have it semi-assembled, or they have different pieces and configurations, and then they make your part and they ship it off. If they were to make different variations of different laptops and have it sitting there in inventory in final condition, they would have tons of laptops taking up space everywhere. They'd have a lot of inventory issues. They'd have to pay a lot for overhead, and they'd be wasting potentially a lot. Because what if they built a lot of laptops and things like that and computers that people don't order, and then it just sits on the shelf for months and months and months? So just in time, in terms of learning, is when you need to learn. And then just in case is learning for the sake of learning. School does this a lot. You do a lot of just in case learning. Art history, all these different classes that you probably never use again in your life. No offense, any art history majors. I never quite found anything that I needed to use that for in my career just yet. Both types of learning are good, but if you do too much just in case learning, it can be a little bit of a distraction. I'm looking here at my notes on the whiteboard to my right here. So school, middle school, high school, college, I would imagine school past that. I've only gotten my undergrad degree, but I would imagine a lot of things that you learn in school are just in case learning. You learn a little bit about a lot. You're kind of like a jack of all trades, right? You're not a master of any until you get into those upper level classes where you are more focused on the core competencies of your degree. And with just in time, it's kind of like using Google or asking Alexa questions. I can just ask a question and it will provide the answer to me. I think I remember hearing that math teachers back in the day used to make you learn all these things. And when people would complain about having to learn these math equations and do all this handwritten work when we have calculators, I think the joke, or maybe someone actually said this, the teacher's like, it's not like you're going to be walking around with a calculator in your pocket, so you have to know how to do this by hand. Fast forward, we've got this freaking phone that does more than just calculate things. It's got more than just a calculator function. If I don't even want to go to the calculator field, I can just ask Siri or ask Google, hey, Google, what's 7 times 7? If you didn't hear that, the volume is low, but it said the answer is 49. I think that's right. I don't have to do that by hand to tell you the answer. So yeah, we have things in our pockets that can provide all these answers. I think Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this too. We don't have to know everything because we can just look up the answers. A lot of things that we used to fill our space in our brains with, we don't need to know. For example, think about how many phone numbers do you know right now? I know my parents' cell phone numbers only because they've had the same numbers for years, and I kind of remembered it over time. I also remember the old home phone number that we used to have, because when you're kids, you'd have to like share that with your friend. Hey, what's your number? This is my number. Call the home phone. My mom will pick up. She'll put me on the line. Now, other than my personal cell phone and like my parents' cell phone numbers, I don't know my girlfriend's cell phone number. We've been dating for over 3 years. I don't know my siblings' cell phone numbers. Like one time my phone crashed and turned off on me and I was showing homes. Literally, I was just like, oh crap, I don't know the buyer's cell phone number. I don't even know how to get to the next house. I don't even know what the next house is because it was all in my phone. And that made me realize how reliant we are on technology. But I mean, of course, I got a new phone the same day. It was just crashing on me. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. Phones answer a lot of questions so that we don't have to have all this just in case knowledge in our mind. We can have this just in time knowledge. And I think it's extremely important to have a good combination of both. But of course, I would lean more towards the just in time information. I've been kind of a just in case information person with books. For example, I mean, I could show you these books I'm reading now. I'm kind of wanting to learn how to be better at advertising. So I'm looking at how to write a good advertisement. And then I'm also looking at building a rental property empire. So I've got this other book, Build a Rental Property Empire. They're not really related, right? So I'm kind of doing a little bit of just in case here. But say that I was learning how to flip a house and I read a book, How to Flip a House. As I'm flipping the house, I read the chapter about changing the roof or hiring the contractor or budgeting for the project, and then I do the step, right? So when you're doing just-in-time learning, you learn and you apply. Another example, my dryer was broken one time. For some reason, I would close the door and start it and it wouldn't turn, it wouldn't tumble. And I Googled it or I YouTubed it, and it told me that the problem is most likely the little dryer switch. There's a switch that gets pushed and compressed when the door closes. It kind of broke or something on me. And so I was able to find out how to fix the dryer by YouTubing it. And it was just like a $20 part. And then it took maybe 30 minutes of my time following the video step by step. So that's an example of just in time learning. I didn't have to know how to freaking change the dryer switch or how to fix the dryer just in case, because what are the odds that that would have broken? And even if the dryer did break, what if it was a different problem than that switch? Then I would have wasted my time and my knowledge on how to fix the dryer with the switch when it could have been a different issue. So that's an example of how just in time came in for the win. So what is it that you're learning in your life? What are you trying to become a master of? Are you trying to figure out Facebook ads? Are you trying to figure out how to speak better? Are you wanting to write your first book? Figure out what it is that your goal is and read a book about that. Take a course about that. Watch some YouTube videos about that. And I'm guilty. I do a lot of just in case learning. I love the mindset stuff, the productivity, the sales funnels. I watch a lot of random videos, and sometimes I feel like it's productive and maybe deep down it's not so productive because I could be spending my time doing something else. But I also try to multitask a little bit. If I'm listening to something that I know isn't extremely relevant to me right now, it's while I'm doing dishes, or maybe I'm vacuuming, or I'm going for a jog. So I'm doing something else that's sort of productive at the same time as listening to content that maybe I might not need right away. So that's kind of how I justify it in my own mind. And you want to make sure to be balanced. I think I already said this again earlier, that too much just in case learning could be a distraction from doing the actual work. And so, yeah, let's just go through some of these highlights again. Just in time versus just in case. Just in time is learning something when you need to learn it, like right when you need to learn it. When you got to fix the dryer switch because your dryer broke, YouTube it. Just in time learning. Just in case learning is kind of like learning for the sake of learning, like school, like art history. You know, it's great to know the history of this art thing or this certain kind of building, but I don't really need to know that for real estate, which is what I do now, or this podcast that I'm making for you now. And this terminology kind of originated from the lean manufacturing, like Toyota, and they call it just-in-time manufacturing, where they make parts right before they need it so that they can use less inventory, have less overhead, and they're using more of what they need and they have less waste overall. And then, of course, be balanced. I think that too much just-in-case learning could be a little bit of a distraction from the work. So you want to have a good combination, a healthy combination of just-in-time and just-in-case learning. So what are you learning right now? What do you want to learn? And are you learning just in time or just in case? Ask yourself that question. And is it balanced, or do you need to move over to the just in time a little bit more? Or are you doing too much just in time where you're just flying by the seam of your pants? That saying is so funny to me. Are you doing too much just in time, where maybe you need to take some just in case time and learn a little bit more overall to have a foundation in whatever topic that it is that you're trying to learn or improve upon? With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please be sure to like, subscribe, go to YouTube, subscribe on there, comment, and engage. I love to engage with my listeners and my audience. If you haven't left a review in iTunes, please leave me a 5-star review if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, give me a 4-star and tell me why. If you think it's worse than 4 stars, please just message me on Instagram and let me know. I'm trying to keep my ratings high, but I also do appreciate the feedback and I want to improve any way that I can. So thank you all for listening so much. I will catch you on the next episode, and less dreaming, more doing. Go take action today. I almost forgot what I was going to say there. Talk to you later. Bye.